Okay, so let's start with this. Actually, let's just get this perspective on delivering these services at scale, both for yourself, like Google, but also for third parties, like everybody now, but Google and OpenAI and Anthropic, obviously, with their APIs. So each of these companies seems a little different. Like, first off, what's Google's take on infrastructure and services today?
Yeah, Google has a very long, rich history building highly reliable, highly secure production infrastructure. They take this stuff very seriously, but they've also evolved it and built things. They've had a very long time to really mature in the way they build these things. And so one of the things you will see is when Google actually builds a new product or kind of rolls it out, it takes a very long time for these things to get out the door, for for new features to be added, even for bugs to be fixed and things like that. But when they do it, it kind of works. It just always works. OpenAI or some of these younger companies, on the other hand, they've just massively grown massively fast, and they haven't had the time to build mature, stable infrastructure, nor do they have the type of people required to build this type of infrastructure.
100%.
Yeah. I thought of Google as like a really fundamentally from the core was an engineering company. Just the people that started Google and the people as Google grew, it was very, very focused on rigor and engineering quality. And OpenAI is like a research company. Right from the start, it was like very, people focused on moving really, really fast, experimenting. They had a different kind of muscle, and that muscle allowed them to get to where they are today. But that muscle is not the muscle that you need to be able to build reliable production systems. But, they are evolving there too, and they're building.
So,
yeah.
I know. Sorry. I don't know.
Well, so like there was I was thinking back towards the end of my time at Google, there was a period where like Google just had an old version of TensorFlow running in Google Cloud. It was just an old version. But the new version wasn't qualified, and there was a whole production qualification process for it, and it was going to take weeks. And the customers just wanted the new version. And so this was like, for any other company, there would be someone who'd be like, hey, just ship the new version. Like, if customers sign off that it might be crappy, it might not work, just give them the new version. They say they want it, just give it. Like, we have it. We made this software. We're using it for ourselves. We just haven't qualified it through all of the little checkboxes in this external environment. But at Google, that was like a knockdown, drag out fight of like, can we ship a thing that we don't know is stable, is perfect, is scalable? And like in the end, I think, some VP was like, hey, the customers say they want it. I'll sign on the dotted line. Just like check this box right here. But it was not easy. Whereas like at OpenAI, or at Anthropic, they would struggle to understand what the question was. They're like, well, we have it, and the customers say they want it, so give it to them. Like, it's fine. So it's really it is such a completely different culture of this stuff. And so I think in this environment, it is challenging for Google because the market is rewarding moving fast. And the thing that Google has never had and has decreasingly had in the last 10 years is moving fast.
So it's interesting. Like, with the original migration to cloud services, I think there was a lot of hesitation of trusting someone else's cloud service for your business, which after all is fairly important to the third party.
Yep.
Especially if you're the first party. So this kind of move fast and break everything mentality might not be the best for people who are building businesses on these services. And I know that you were talking a bit about the trade-off in both these companies to some extent, excuse me, about training, resource consumption versus inference, which is usually serving your customers. So, if I'm building a business, can I really depend on these companies today?
Well, so I think it's a nuanced answer. I'm curious your perspective here, Mo. Like, it's a nuanced answer, I think, because no one is buying these services just for what they do today. People get excited about what they do today, but part of what they care about is how quickly they're getting better. So like all of us, not just like, just some random, company somewhere who wants to buy some Codex or wants to buy some Claude Code or something. But like you don't buy that because of everything the model does, in March of 2026. You want the release that's coming in May, and you also want the release that's coming in August, and the new release that'll come in towards the end of September. You want all of those things, and you're kind of planning on the whole thing. So there is a trade-off, though. Like, there is limited compute capacity in the world. all of these companies are using all the compute they have almost all the time, if they're running well. And so you do have to trade off between, like, should I give some more compute to researchers to find a better way to make a better model, to distill a model down, to make the last model almost as good, but a quarter the size, and maybe that frees up capacity to do something else. Or maybe I should just go ahead and, like, give capacity to inference so that it, like, scales reliably. And I consistently saw people making trade-offs in favor mostly of research. I think, Mo, you were saying that wasn't always the case at OpenAI more recently, because it's been more than a year since I've been there.
Yeah. My hunch is, when you talk about having to rely on these models, there's a few factors to look at. One is, in some cases, you have no choice. Yeah. Like for development, for example, if you are not doing AI-assisted development today, you are going to be in a lot of trouble tomorrow. Like the whole, your teams have to really get up to speed and figure out how to do it. And the cost of when, say, AI is down or Codex is down, whatever, is that, your development slows down rapidly. In fact, they're super sticky. You can actually start working on these things and within 4 or 5 weeks get really, really stuck to these things where when things go down, you're like, oh shit,
I'm dumb.
I'm going to go get a coffee. Yeah.
Right.
But then there are the places where you actually do have a choice where, say you're a startup, your business, you're a SaaS company or something like that, and you're trying to serve, you've got some AI enhanced, feature. You build it in a way such that, like, if the model is down or if the provider is down, your business can still continue to operate. So there's a lot of things that you can do there.
Yep.
And there's various knobs. You can run models locally. You can run models. You can use multiple providers. There's challenges there too, but you can make a lot of trade-offs over there. I think the main thing is that there are some places where you just have no choice. I mean, if you want to stay ahead and you want to compete and you don't want to be chewed up, like you just have no choice.